Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, a show celebrating and questioning one of the most beloved entertainment companies in the world through honest, passionate, and clear-eyed Disney discussions. I'm Jeff DePauli, your entertainment-obsessed host with rose-colored glasses removed. Today on the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by LaughingPlace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on July 27th, 2022, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. 2 Disneyland nighttime offerings ending their runs, a sold-out D23 Expo, Magic Band Plus launching at Walt Disney World, and more.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
This past weekend, San Diego Comic-Con returned with its first in-person event in 3 years. To mark the occasion, Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige took to the stage at the event's legendary Hall H to unveil some of the studio's plans for the years ahead. While there was far too much news to discuss in detail, there were a number of highlights. First, an emotional new teaser trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was released, giving fans a first look at the film. Following the passing of star Chadwick Boseman in 2020, it seems that this film will see the death of King T'Challa as well. Appropriately enough, when Wakanda Forever debuts in theaters this November, it will also close out the MCU's Phase 4. Moving into Phase 5, it was confirmed that Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson will star as Captain America in New World Order, hitting theaters on May 3rd, 2024. Also announced was a Thunderbolts film, capping Phase 5 on July 28th, 2024. On Disney Plus, a new series titled Daredevil Born Again will see its 18-episode first season kickoff in spring 2024. Meanwhile, the show formerly known as Agatha House of Harkness has been retitled Agatha Coven of Chaos and will premiere sometime in winter 2023 or 2024. Finally, Feige also fast-forwarded to Phase 6 to announce that Fantastic Four will debut on November 8th, 2024. Then bringing the multiverse saga to a close will be a pair of Avengers films, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. These epic titles will arrive in theaters on May 2nd, 2025 and November 7th, 2025 respectively. And while it may sound as though there's not much left to announce, rest assured that Marvel still has plenty up its sleeve. So prepare for even more news at the D23 Expo this September. Just in time for the superhero festivities at San Diego Comic-Con, 3 comic book films have made their debut on Disney+. Notably, however, these are 3 R-rated films previously released by 20th Century Fox. Those 3 titles are Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and Logan. Of course, the addition of these mature movies comes after TV MA series such as Daredevil, Luke Cage, and others made the move to Disney Plus earlier this year. Those additions came with new parental controls that block certain titles from showing on selected profiles. Thus, with Disney Plus continuing to expand, the company reminds subscribers to check their settings to ensure they match their content preferences. After initially being teased last year and accidentally going on sale for half a day a few months ago, Magic Band Plus has now officially launched at Walt Disney World. As you may remember, these new bands retain all of the same features as the previous models, but add some new capabilities and technologies. Specifically, those with Magic Band Plus can participate in 2 new in-park features, Star Wars Batuu Bounty Hunters and the Fab 50 Quest. The latter feature will allow guests to interact with the various 50th anniversary character statues found throughout all 4 Walt Disney World theme parks. Plus, like Glow with the Show before them, the new bands will sync up with nighttime spectaculars such as Harmonious and Disney Enchantment. As of July 27th, guests can find Magic Band Plus at select retail locations as well as Shop Disney, assuming all goes to plan. According to Disney, the new bands start at $34.99, although special editions will surely fetch more. Finally, while the Disneyland Resort is confirmed to be adding Magic Band Plus support as well, no launch date for the West Coast Resort has been announced as of this recording. As Disney's Boardwalk at Walt Disney World continues to evolve, the current Boardwalk Bakery will be changing its name and menu. Soon the location will be known as Boardwalk Deli, serving up a variety of sandwiches, wraps, and more, along with other specialties such as cannolis. Additionally, some bakery favorites will remain, including the New Jersey crumb cake, which Kyle Burbank hijacked this script to say is a personal favorite of his. While the Boardwalk Deli is slated to debut this summer, no exact opening date has been announced just yet. After a less than stellar run in theaters, Pixar's Lightyear is set to blast onto Disney+. The film, which stars Chris Evans, Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, and others, will be available to stream for subscribers starting August 3rd. On that same day, the movie will also be released on digital, with Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K release set for September 13th. So if you missed Lightyear in theaters, you can blast off to infinity and beyond on Disney Plus in just a week's time. Ever since the Australian series Bluey arrived on Disney+, viewers around the world have fallen in love with the show. In turn, those fans will be excited to hear that the much-anticipated third season of the series will begin streaming on Disney+ on August 10th. More accurately, the first half of Season 3, which includes 25 7-minute stories, will begin streaming next month, with the second half set to arrive at a later date. In the meantime, if you haven't yet caught Bluey fever, you can check out the first 2 seasons right now. Having a young niece and nephew in my life, I can say that the fandom is intense. With Disney Plus giving fans the opportunity to watch their favorite Disney films over and over again, the platform will now make it easier for viewers to sing along with select classics, and not-so-classics as well. On July 22nd, the streaming service added sing-along versions of Moana and The Little Mermaid. What's more, 5 additional Disney Plus sing-alongs will launch in August, including the 2019 The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride, Tangled, and both versions of Beauty and the Beast. Of course, this isn't the first time a sing-along version of a film has been added to the service, as Encanto was released in such a format in March. In any case, get ready to sing your heart out and annoy your neighbors even more. As a result of sports rights contracts rising, ESPN Plus is set to hike its subscription price. Effective August 23rd, ESPN Plus's monthly cost will climb $3, going from the current $6.99 a month to $9.99 a month. If you're keeping score at home, that leapfrogs Disney Plus's current price by $2. Similarly, a yearly plan will go from $69.99 to $99.99. Interestingly though, Disney seems to further be pushing the bundle, as it will not be raising prices on that just yet. Instead, for the time being, subscribers can still get Disney Plus, ad-supported Hulu, and ESPN Plus for $13.99 a month. In the last House of Mouse headlines, I told you about a new special coming to ABC called Beauty and the Beast: A 30th Celebration. Now we know who will be playing the lead role, and it's none other than Grammy and Academy Award winner her. The R&B star will play Belle on the special, which will include performances filmed before a live audience. In a statement, her stated, "I can't believe I get to be a part of the Beauty and the Beast legacy. The world will see a Black and Filipino Belle. I have always wanted to be a Disney princess, and I get to work with 2 wonderful directors, Hamish Hamilton and my favorite, John M. Chu. It is very surreal, and I couldn't be more grateful." Beauty and the Beast: A 30th Celebration will air on ABC December 15th. It looks as though Disney is moving forward with its long-rumored live-action Lilo and Stitch project, reportedly hiring a director for the film. According to Deadline, Dean Fleischer Camp, who recently directed Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, has been tapped to helm this new adaptation of the 2002 modern classic. Currently, it's unclear whether the project would be planned for a theatrical release or for Disney+, although the latter is the odds-on favorite here at DCTC. With little else known about the film at this time, be sure to stay tuned for more updates. Recently, LEGO announced the latest LEGO Ideas projects to gain official approval. If you're not familiar, fans can submit their own suggestions and plans for LEGO sets, with those that gain 10,000 votes moving on for actual consideration. Well, this time around, a set inspired by the Sanderson sisters' cottage not only made it to this round, but has now been approved, meaning that the set will become a reality in the relatively near future. LEGO is still working out the final product design, pricing, and availability for this set, and promises to share more on the LEGO Ideas blog as the launch of this product gets closer. But with Hocus Pocus 2 arriving this September, hopefully this set will materialize soon. And now it's time to bring in Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com. Howdy ho, Kyle.
Hey, Jeff. It's been like a month.
It's been a while. Welcome back from Disneyland Paris and the opening of Avengers Campus overseas. How was it?
It was good. I was actually wearing my Spirit jersey all day, but of course I took it off right before this like a dope.
Now he has nothing on.
No, I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath. No, it was a lot of fun. We got a chance to check it out a couple different times. Got into the Pim's kitchen, which over there is a table service. Well, it's a buffet, so not exactly table service, but that was interesting. And yeah, had a good time. Got to check out. We forgot that we would be there for Bastille Day, and their Bastille Day fireworks were crazy. So that was a lot of fun as well.
Cool. And that drone show that they did for the opening of Avengers Campus made me very jealous that we don't have drone shows here in the States.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to that part of the event, but they did use drones in the Bastille Day fireworks. They recreated like a banner that was like the French flag. There was an Eiffel Tower, and then they did the Notre Dame stained glass design.
That's they're so beautiful. Like, it's just done so well, and yes, we need to figure out a way to get those over to the domestic parks because they're just fantastic. But in any case, congratulations. I'm glad you got to see the opening of Avengers Campus at Disneyland Paris. Welcome home. And since you weren't around during the last House of Mouse headlines, I'm going to start with a couple of older stories from back then. I want to touch upon the fact that Tiana's Bayou Adventure, as I mentioned before, slated to open coast to coast in late 2024. But the news here is really that yes, late 2024 is news, but we have a name. Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I'm curious what you think of this name.
I feel like it was everyone's first draft when this news was announced. Like, I feel like I'd already seen this before. But yeah, I mean, in addition, beyond that, like, yeah, we have a date, but it's already, like I said in the script, it's already been 2 years. It's going to be another 2 years. So it felt like a nothing update. You're like, yeah, it's still happening. Things are kind of moving, but I guess, it's right before the expo. So I'm sure we'll get updates there, but it was just kind of funny that all we get's a name and a season.
Well, let's face it, like, when they announced it, I don't think they had any intention of announcing it that early. It was in the middle of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and they're like, we need to announce something in support. And it was like, this is going to be it. So between that and maybe were there possible leaks? I can't remember. Is this something that was being rumored upon?
I don't think it was rumored upon as something that was happening. I think it was rumored upon like people saying, this should happen. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, we thought of that a year ago. At least that's what they said.
So I really think that that's what happened. Like, we probably wouldn't have been hearing it until now, normally. And I think that they were just in a situation where they had to announce something. So they did. I don't really care about the name. The disappointment is we are kind of officially losing a Disney mountain, which I don't think has ever happened before. And that's a little weird.
That's a good point. I mean, I hadn't really thought about that. I guess maybe they could make Splash Mountain more like a location instead of the attraction name. So it could be like Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Splash Mountain or something like that. I mean, because that's the other thing people want to know about is what's going to happen with the lands, especially at Disneyland where you have a New Orleans Square. It's like, is that going to just get extended? Obviously, they didn't answer that. I know a lot of people have theories about what's going to happen there, but I'm hoping D23, but probably not.
I hope that we lose Critter Country and that it just becomes like the back bayou of New Orleans Square. I think that just makes sense, right? There's nothing genius about that. It just feels natural and fits, and it's right there. I'm more interested to see what they do about it being in Frontierland and Magic Kingdom, which my guess is they're not going to do anything. They're just going to be like, accept it, But we're losing a mountain, Kyle. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Like I said, I think instead of it being Chickapin Hill or whatever, they'll just call it Splash Mountain and use it as like a location and work that in somehow.
Yeah, there will be, I'm certain, some really interesting Easter eggs will pop up in the attraction as well. So
Very interesting Easter eggs, yes.
why do you say it like that?
I don't know. It's just if you're replacing something and it's supposedly
I'm talking about
deemed
a frog
racist
or something.
I know. I'm just saying,
fine.
like, it's just kind of funny to honor an attraction that you're saying is like outdated and stuff. So there could be some very funny ways to do that. But obviously they're not going to do, but no, it's a little bit different situation than the homages they usually pay.
Yeah. Well, even bigger news, bigger than Splash Mountain getting a redo, we got updates to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. That's right, the Progress family gets new outfits in Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. We got new wardrobe and hairstyles in the final scene. Patricia has a Progress Tech hoodie sweatshirt on that says the School of Urban Planning, which is a nice little nod to Progress City. The kids are both wearing reindeer slippers featuring the reindeer that we know and love from the Disney Christmas parades. Jimmy is wearing a sweatshirt logo from the Mineral King Ski Lodge Resort, which of course was a project that Walt was working on. And then the dad, John, has a My Food Rocks apron in reference to the Epcot Food Rocks attraction of yesteryear. And this is all so cool, but I also don't know what to think of it. Like, it was so no random. Announcement. So random. So here's the thing. Like, the good side is, it's like, okay, they updated Carousel of Progress. Granted, minimally, but like, to me, whenever something is updated, let's look at Splash Mountain right now, right? Like, tons of stuff broken in Splash Mountain, and they're like, we're not fixing that because it's getting a redo. Whereas, even a minimal update in Carousel of Progress to me means, okay, it's sticking around.
They know it exists.
We know it exists. It's still on the spreadsheets. We haven't forgotten. And it's sticking around. That's the thumbs up. The thumbs down is this the update, right? Like, it's in much need of an update. Is this it?
I mean, it's not, I guess the technology they have is still, it's here today. So it's actually, instead of being like a look to the future, it's more of a look to the present, and modernizing it this little bit does make it look less like the past, although it still looks like a 90s home, of course. But yeah, like you're saying, I just thought it was so interesting that this happened out of nowhere, and then this and People Mover got updated the same day, so I felt very targeted by Imagineering on this particular day. But at the same time, I've been noticing this a lot with like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the pre-show and stuff. There's a fine line between these like fun Easter eggs and just straight up pandering, and some of the things go on both sides of that line.
I don't disagree with you that is often done, but for some reason, these ones felt like nerdy Imagineer fans. I
think I'd agree with you, especially with like, so if you look at the Mineral King one, it looks a lot like Matterhorn. That's the first thing you'd imagine. But it's actually it looks like a mashup of two different Mineral King logos that they put into one. So there's some creativity and some fun being had there. So I think it's one of those things where, like, yeah, obviously we like a real update, so it feels kind of cheap that they did this. But I do think the Easter eggs, for lack of a better term, here work better than some other places, like Star-Lord, just like listing attractions you can't go to anymore.
You know what? My honest to God, my first, this is so nerdy. My first thought when I saw these new costumes was at the previous D23 Expo, so 2019. There was a couple, I don't know if they were a couple or siblings or what, but they were dressed as, do you remember this tweet I sent out? And it got thousands of retweets and stuff. And it was this couple who were dressed as the son and daughter from Carousel of Progress in that final scene. So she was carrying around a ski boot. They had the perfect clothes, like it was matched to a T. My first thought was, oh, those poor cosplayers are now outdated. I felt bad for them, but I guess they're just retro attractions now.
The daughter kind of looks like Taylor Swift, in my opinion.
It's good news. It means the attraction got some TLC, but I mean, they really need to update that attraction more, I feel like. And to me, this just kicked that can 10 years down the road, this little update.
It is better than when they just replaced the TV with a HD TV.
Oh God, I don't even remember
that was one of the most laughable updates. Yeah, no, that happened a while ago.
That's
So we're
funny.
like, so wait, what year is it then?
Alrighty, so that happened. Let's move on to some newer news. The popular Twilight Zone Tower of Terror billboard at Walt Disney World has been demolished. And I know that this like really isn't big news, but like it's big news. This is iconic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when you drive on, I believe it's World Drive, they had the giant, very tall Twilight Zone Tower of Terror billboard that when it was working properly, you could see the elevator carriage shaking back and forth. And it was as iconic to me as the Mickey and Minnie, welcome to Walt Disney World gates. And for this no, Kyle is giving me the look.
I think it's cheesy.
Oh, I loved it.
I don't think it's as iconic as the entry gates. Like, I couldn't even tell you which road it was on because it was one of those things where I don't know the layout of Walt Disney World that well.
Yeah, but I couldn't. If somebody was like drive to the welcome gates, I couldn't find that either. Like,
no, I know, but I'm saying like I'd only see this every once in a while. Be like, oh, this is where that is. So it can't be that iconic.
I love this billboard, but I was a huge fan of the billboard battle of the 90s between Disney and Universal. It was an epic time where they were making some epic billboards, trying to outdo the other one. I honestly think Universal often won that battle, but it was so much fun. And this was just like one of the last remnants of it. And I'm bummed it's gone, especially since it's being replaced by Disney's favorite new thing, Greenland.
A green space.
Yay, green space there, and some, what's the word I'm looking for? Landscaping. So yeah, that's disappointing. My guess is that they just got sick of trying to fix it. Even though it was fine if it wasn't working. If it wasn't moving, it was still a cool billboard. But, it definitely, talking about the Carousel of Progress finale scene stuck in a certain time period, it did feel like it was stuck in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And perhaps that's the reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like an ad for a roadside attraction at their own property.
But that used to be a thing. There used to be billboards for like every attraction, every major attraction, and I loved that. And that is definitely not a thing anymore. Now it's more about, advertising the park or a specific, a space as opposed to an attraction. And I don't know. I miss it. I hope that's a time that I'm sure it will. Everything's cyclical, but I'm ready for that to come back. The billboard battle. I love it.
Maybe it couldn't get permitted in the non Reedy Creek area in the future. I don't think. I'm just joking.
I'm not gonna lie though. I did have a little bit of the. I know this is just going way too extreme, but I had that little fear of, oh gosh, is the Twilight Zone, like, are we finally losing the Twilight Zone in the name Twilight Zone Tower of Terror? I thought there might have been a retheming coming or something. Disney has assured us that's not the case, but, they're just saying what they want to tell us for now. Who knows? I don't know, but it's gone.
No current plans is a very useful phrase.
Yes, no current plans as of this moment at this exact second. Tomorrow, everything could change, but yeah. Anyway, that's gone. Let's move on. Oh, here's the fun news of the week. Business Insider report says that Bob Iger regrets selecting Bob Chapek as his successor. Gee, do you think, Mr. Iger? Do you think it might have worked out this way? Because I certainly did, and you're a way smarter man than me. So, what is there to say here? He says it's one of his worst business decisions.
He reportedly says this. He hasn't just like called Business Insider and like unburdened his soul. These are according to people who know him.
This is like hearsay or
a
what?
Reporter spoke with sources who are apparently close to Bob Iger. That's my reading of it from reading the article. So yeah, none of this is like firsthand. This is someone who apparently has heard Bob Iger say this, telling a reporter, and I don't think any of the executives are actually named.
Okay, well, I will say from someone I know who was on the inside that during the Walt Disney World 50th stuff, apparently Bob and Bob would not be in the same room with each other. Like, they had separate catering and all this stuff because they're just done with each other. I believe it. I believe that he said those words. The thing that I don't believe is that he's surprised by it. That's what I don't believe. He's a smart man. I don't think he's not surprised.
Well, it sounded like it's been a while since I read the article, but it sounded like the surprise came from like he wasn't necessarily opposed to Chapek in general. It was how he didn't, I guess, expect how the impact that COVID was going to have, and didn't like the way Chapek responded to it. And that's kind of where, we saw reports of Iger trying to take back more control during that whole period, or being like, well, yeah, I ran the company, I'm trying to help and whatever. So it sounds like maybe he was more sidelined during that. And that's kind of where the hostility came from. So I don't know if it's necessarily like he was opposed to him. I mean, obviously he kept him around for so long. It sounded like he wanted to elevate him even earlier, in fact. But it was just, I guess, saw his true colors once he got the job, and then unprecedented things started happening with COVID.
Well, you know what? I don't agree with everything that Bob Iger says, but if he did indeed say that it was one of his worst business decisions, I would agree, and I would say actually it was the worst business decision. So there you go, Mr. Iger, if you're listening, because of course you are. I agree with you. So yeah, it's annoying to hear this stuff because I'm like, duh. But in any case, that happened. Shall we move on?
Sure.
All right. Because guess what, Kyle? The Main Street Electrical Parade. Oh, let me do that again. The Main Street Electrical Parade and Disneyland Forever fireworks are ending their limited run. For now. After reappearing at Disneyland to celebrate its 50th anniversary, the venerable classic Main Street Electrical Parade is set to close on September 1st. The Disneyland Forever fireworks show is also set to end its limited run on September 1st, but both nighttime spectaculars are set to run nightly until then. We all knew that this was a limited run sort of situation. Guess what? It's coming back because they built a new float, right? Like, they weren't investing in that for 3 months of entertainment.
Or it'll go over to a different park.
Yeah, but I mean, the Main Street Electrical Parade ain't dead.
Yeah. It's not glowing away forever.
No.
And they're not claiming it is this time, thankfully.
No light bulbs are being sold, It's just, the thing that's a little strange is that it's leaving, like, the week before Expo. I found that to be strange. You'd think that they would take advantage of that. The only thing that makes me wonder is something happening for Expo? Are Halloween fireworks starting that early, and/or is Paint the Night?
Or can you ship an entire parade in a month?
What do you mean?
Oh, well, October 1st might be significant on a different coast.
Oh gosh, you think it's going back to Magic Kingdom? Oof.
I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah,
I don't think it'd be that quick. I don't know how long it takes, but it seems like it'd be longer than that.
I was just surprised that it's right before Expo. But of course, Fantasmic's still around, World of Color's still around. There's still nighttime spectaculars, so there's all that. But yeah, a little premature, slightly, in my opinion. But it makes me think they might have something up their sleeve. But speaking of up their sleeve, I don't know if my guess is. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if this was like a little teaser thing or what. Did you see what Jordan Fisher did?
Yes, I did.
Do you think that this is planned at all, or do you think he's just being a weirdo?
I mean, it's 6-5 and pick 'em. But I would say, given his like certified future Disney legend status, it probably is a hint.
Wow, you think he's going to be a Disney legend?
He's in everything. That's my measure. I don't know if they actually need to make a big impact, but if you like make the rounds and you're Disney's go-to person for anything, if you work your way through the franchises or. Yeah, he's got an extensive body of Disney work at this point. If Christina Aguilera is one, I don't see why Jordan Fisher wouldn't be.
All right. Well, and what we're talking about is on his, I don't know if it was TikTok or whatever, some social media. He just went on and kind of just made a comment like, so, like, happily ever after, it's got to come back at some point, right? Right? Like something like that. And of course, the Twitterverse went crazy and... Happily Ever After is a fantastic show, so it should come back.
Now let's see if Todrick Hall does the same about Magic Happens.
I don't think anybody's listening to Todrick Hall these days. He shot himself in the foot. But, yeah. In any case, that stuff's going away. Oh, we got to talk a second about, of course, Disneyland recently celebrated its 67th anniversary. And, they have their little celebration, a little cavalcade, a moment to celebrate the occasion, which is very nice. I was actually at Walt's Barn that day, and we celebrated it there as well. But normally, and I certainly don't want to claim that they've done it every year, but normally the times that I've gone, which is probably 4 or 5 times on the birthday of Disneyland, they play Walt Disney's opening day speech over the loudspeakers, and apparently that was omitted this year. Why on earth would you do that?
I don't know if omitted is the right word. Like, they didn't do it, but it wasn't like... I don't know. I don't think that this is a non-story. I saw that you added this, and I was like,
no, this is a story.
Have an opinion
Kyle, this is a story. They're removing Walt Disney from Disneyland.
They're not removing Walt Disney. Oh my God. You're jumping to conclusions. Like, you have no idea.
No.
This thing looks so thrown together. Did you actually watch the thing? Like, first of all, it's all live audio. So it doesn't even make sense. They didn't have voiceovers. There's like 5 characters instead of 60 something. There's not really a cavalcade. They kind of walk down Main Street. They have a band. They have the Dapper Dans. Also, the plaque is still right there on Main Street. I think, if anything, raising more attention to this is going to make people try to cancel this opening day speech, whatever problematic thing that they think is in there that I don't know what that is. But I think you're hurting your case by bringing it up and making such a big deal out of it.
I love that this is the thing, out of everything we've ever talked about, has made you the most heated ever. And
like, I didn't even know I had these emotions. I just looked at it and I go, oh, I guess I should figure out what the hell he's talking about here. And then I'm like, I don't understand what is happening.
I also think it's funny.
They added the thing to MSCP. I know it's not the full speech, but obviously it's not like they're trying to bury it. You can go find the plaque on Main Street. It's right there.
I think it's a weird choice. I also think it's weird that you're like, oh, they didn't even plan this. They just threw something together. Like, to me, that's
I didn't say they. I said it looked thrown together. I know that they must have planned something because they know this comes around every year.
Yeah, that's a problem as well, isn't it? But yeah.
So that could be the story is, hey, why aren't they making a bigger deal out of it? Maybe because it's the 67th anniversary. Not anything
they always
I know
do
last year's
something.
had to be, last year's was probably a little bit bigger because it was a stand-in for the 65th as well. But I know that they've been doing odd years. It's not like they haven't done anything on 61, 62, 63.
Has your blood pressure lowered? Are you okay?
My blood pressure's... there is an ambulance outside of my apartment right now, but...
Oh, no. Or they heard you. They're like, oh my gosh, Kyle Burbank raised his voice. This is the first time this has happened this decade. We better go see what's happening. Oh, he's talking about Walt Disney. He's fine. It'll all be good. Let me get your heart racing even more, because I know how much you hate talking about rumors. You've heard about this Walt Disney World rumor, right? The name of the resort.
No.
Have you not heard about? Oh my God, there's this rumor going around. I don't even know where this started. That like they're trying to officially change the name from Walt Disney World to Disney World as one word, like Disneyland.
Says who?
Well,
there's a difference between they may be trying to trademark that so that people that do use it that way can't just like skirt trademark laws.
I feel like. Oh gosh, now I don't know the details, but I've just seen several people talking about this. And somebody tagged me in a tweet about it because, of course, everybody knows that would make me livid if they did that. And, it would make me livid, but I'm not getting upset about it yet because it hasn't happened. But in any case, oh, Kyle, you crack me up. Let's move on, because while the Disney Wish was set to include performances of Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular, the show has been delayed and will not be available during initial sailings. Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular, is unfortunately still in rehearsals and will not be available during initial sailings of the Disney Wish. The show has now been confirmed to be canceled through August 15th. I gotta be honest, man. I mean, I would be pissed if this were me. But this is the danger always of being the FOMO danger, right? You want to be the first to do it, but that's always a risk. I did this unrelated, but like several years ago, I had tickets to go to see the first week of Moulin Rouge, the musical, in Boston, which was the pre-Broadway run. And I got it for like the first week just because it worked out nicely when I was home for 4th of July. And the shows got canceled because they had an accident inside the theater as they were setting up. And so like I had to fly back to Boston the next month to see this show. And
I remember that.
It sucks, right? Like I spent way more money than I ever intended to go see this show. And that's always the risk, I guess. But I mean, this is a little weird. Unless there was something like COVID related where they couldn't rehearse because they had to cancel stuff. I don't know. It just seems...
that's possible. But from what I heard from the people that did the preview sailings, they canceled the first 2 test sailings for the Wish.
Yes.
It sounds like a lot of things weren't like, and it's funny because it's Aladdin the Musical Spectacular. Like, gee, if only they had experience staging this show before.
Well, that was the other thing I thought, because like, that there are die-hard Aladdin the Musical Spectacular fans out there. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if there were some die-hard fans of that show who specifically booked the Wish to see that show. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. People were obsessed with that show at DCA. So, it's unfortunate. I don't think it's good to open and not have the full show ready, not meaning that specific show, but the show of the ship. But, stuff happens. It's just a little weird.
Yeah, well, they'll get their act together eventually.
Eventually, once we lose a certain CEO. Moving on, let's talk about, D23 Expo 2022 has sold out. And I don't mean like weekend passes are sold out. I mean every single day, every single sort of ticket gone. So if you were sitting on your hands and didn't get them, you're screwed at this point. And this is by far the earliest that this has ever happened. I think it doesn't usually sell out till the weekend of, and even still, I don't even know if the Sunday has sold out in the past. I'm not 100% certain. But this was a little surprising, but this seems to be the trend right now, not just with Disney, like with everything, stuff seems to be selling out sooner rather than later, much sooner than normally.
It was also interesting, the timing, like it happened right during Comic-Con, like pretty much after the Marvel Hall H, which is like, did people suddenly be like, oh, well, I want to learn more about what's going to happen, so I'm going to buy these tickets. And I don't think that is the case.
Interesting.
I also wonder if this has nothing to do with the sellout, but I wonder if Disney is starting to panic a little bit about this, because as far as we've heard, there's no like mask mandate for this. But
Comic-Con there was.
I know Comic-Con there was, and I know LA County is about to do one. Anaheim is not in LA County, but I wonder if they're debating that. And if so, I feel like it would probably need to, whatever they do at the expo is going to have to match the policy at Disneyland. So I wonder if they're
I don't know if it has
those
to.
options.
I think they can do
I don't know. I
whatever
think it's a weird message to be like, well, you have to wear it inside the expo, but if you come over to Disneyland, stay in all the enclosed spaces you want.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, a convention center, you're in all day with like no open windows. So to me, it's a bit different. Just like comfort level for me, I would wear a mask the whole time if the numbers keep going the direction they are. I'll say that the passes, the D23 Expo passes came in the mail, and it basically says right on it, we don't know what the rules are going to be yet as far as mask wearing and stuff like that, but it can change any second, which of course, is normal. Like you said, it's in Orange County, which is very much an area that tends to be against any sorts of rules like those. I just did my first Comic-Con in San Diego. I'd say 99% of people had theirs on, but it was required. So other than those few cosplayers who felt that they were exempt, most people had them on. Speaking of the Comic-Con, though, I will say I saw the D23 Expo booth, I saw the Lucasfilm booth, and I saw the Marvel booth. Of the three, Marvel had the best one, but they were all very lackluster and disappointing. I assume because they're going to save the good stuff for D23 Expo. I don't know. I was a little surprised at how much Marvel announced, because I'm like, you do realize you have another expo that like you actually own in a short while, but maybe they just have a lot of stuff to announce. Who knows? It's interesting.
I think Marvel definitely has a lot more stuff to... They can't. There's a lot more holes to fill. I don't know if that means that they will announce a ton, but they definitely have options.
Yeah. So yeah, there's all that, and Expo sold out. You got your tickets, Kyle?
I mean, sort of.
Yeah. Are you?
We're gonna have a booth again, so I usually get in on the vendor pass, so I don't have to worry about buying my tickets. But yeah, Laughing Place will be there. You can come say hi. I think I know our booth number, but I'm not gonna say it yet, just in case I'm wrong.
Everybody listening should go over to the Laughing Place booth and ask Kyle what he thinks about Walt Disney being omitted from the Disneyland. I'm never gonna drop this. I loved you. I loved the passion, Kyle. I loved it.
I just honestly don't get it. Like,
well, you're way more laid back about stuff.
Don't understand what the. I mean, let me say, if this does turn out to be a trend, I'm happy to say I'm wrong. But at this point, I think it's people just certain websites probably looking to make an extra ridiculous headline for the week.
1 year from now, we will return with this conversation. Anyway, Kyle, I don't know about you, but I am full-blown in Halloween mode these days. I actually went, believe it or not, to a haunted house attraction last night, and Halloween seems to be everywhere. Because of that, I want to remind folks, just in case they're getting ready for Halloween as well, that two DCTC affiliates, Who's Its and What's Its, as well as Souvenir Sense, both currently have Halloween products available. If you want to get ready for your Hocus Pocus 2 screening parties, you'll want to check out the Black Flame candle apparel over at Who's Its and What's Its. And at Souvenir Sense, bring the sense of the spooky season to your home with their numerous Halloween Horror Nights inspired candles, their Ghostly Mansion candle, and their E.T. Forest candle, which, yes, E.T. is a Halloween movie. Anything and everything you order from either Who's Its and What's Its and or Souvenir Sense will be given a 15% discount simply by using discount code DCTC when checking out. So, simply click on the link in this episode's description to check out all that they have to offer, and don't forget to use discount code DCTC when checking out. Now on to the final story. Two classic brands. Two classic brands. I don't know what's wrong with me.
You're really enjoying this 1-2 bit.
I am. I don't know. Two classic brands and decades of happy memories collide in a new apparel collection from Coca-Cola and Disneyland Paris that honors the resort's 30th anniversary. You were just there for that, for the 30th.
I was there. The 30th was in April, but yes.
Yeah, both brands are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Disneyland Paris with a limited edition apparel line titled Classic Paris. The limited edition Coca-Cola x Disneyland Paris collab marks the biggest release for the series and pays homage to history with simplistic styles inspired by streetwear of 1992, the same year that Disneyland Paris opened its gates. The simple collection consists of minimalist streetwear pieces, including baseball caps, t-shirts, and hoodies. Additionally, the assortment will be stocked at Coca-Cola's concept store in London's Covent Garden and can also be found within retail outlets at Disneyland Paris. Now, here's something interesting. The purchase of apparel items, baseball caps excluded, from the release includes a free day pass to Disneyland Paris. With each item purchased, guests will receive a non-dated ticket that can be redeemed online by logging into your Disney account. What is this? 10 years ago, Disneyland at your birthday? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is really interesting because obviously, yes, these sweatshirts and t-shirts are expensive for sweatshirts or t-shirts, but if you factor in the ticket, it's actually
and they're
pretty,
ugly.
like, reasonable. They are ugly.
They're ugly.
They're inspired by
them.
1990s streetwear, so yeah.
Yeah.
There was like one or two that I thought looked okay. I couldn't tell you exactly what they were now. We were actually really hoping to get in-person photos of this, but they got added at Disneyland Paris on sale the day we left, and we left at like 5 a.m. for De Gaulle, so we did not get a chance to see them. But
how unfortunate. But yeah, this is wild, and hey, let's start doing this at Downtown Disney. I'm all for this. Is attendance poor at Disneyland Paris?
I mean, it doesn't ever feel that bad. I mean, we've not had problems as annual pass holders. We haven't really had problems booking days, except for weekends. There's sometimes like a wait list. I mean, there was for like the Avengers Campus thing. I don't know. It doesn't feel that empty by any means. So I don't know. It's very interesting move, and I don't know if there are restrictions on these tickets or whatever, and obviously you need to make a reservation still, so I don't know what the deal is here. Like, that was a big surprise to me when I got to that. It felt like a hidden in the print. Like, they don't make as big of a deal about it as you would think. If you go to this website, this High Snobiety or whatever it is, like, it mentions it at the top when you click the items. There's no mention, but like, and you get a free ticket. It's just like you're buying a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this, but yes, it's called High Snobiety Coca-Cola X Disneyland Paris Collection. So, I don't know. But
there's all sorts of like high fashion things I don't understand. We also, while we were in Paris, went to Kith. Are you familiar with Kith?
I'm not, no.
So they did a recent collaboration with Marvel for Spider-Man. So we went to go check that out. And this store was like part art gallery, part... there's just so many weird mashups. Like someone in there had a Kith t-shirt that was one of the like more... Oh no, it was Buzzbee, the Honey Nut Cheerios bee.
Oh.
And the t-shirts in there cost like $80.
Wow.
So it's just weird that it says Kith and it's got the Buzzbee. Like, what?
Branding. I don't know. It's weird. In any case, before we go, I have one last thing to say. And that is, to all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here, age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Thank you. In any case, Kyle, that was for you. You're welcome.
I am not opposed to the speech.
No. This is the news, guys. Kyle Burbank hates the Disneyland opening day speech.
That's not true.
The look on your face. I'm sorry. I love you, Kyle. This is just too much fun. I will give you the last word.
I like the speech. Yeah, of course they should have played it. I don't think it's a big deal that it was quote unquote omitted.
All right. I'm going to let you have that. Have a good one. I will talk to you in a couple weeks with some more news. Thank you. Good to catch up. Welcome home.
Thank you.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think of Walt's opening day speech not being part of Disneyland's anniversary this year? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app. This episode has been executive produced by Robert Scontrino. Gain rewards like Robert, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live-stream Q&As, by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. And don't forget that I'll be matching 100% of your first month subscription to Planned Parenthood, where your health is their highest priority and they believe your body is your own, for all new patrons joining this month, July of 2022. Basically, anything you need can be found in this episode's description, from additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, to the DCTC hotline where you can leave a voicemail and be heard on a future episode, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.